We are back at full strength tonight as La Rayo is here with us tonight. A cold start to the week, certainly. We've got one more really cold day, and then we're going to warm up and get into a cold front with some rain and maybe some boom booms in there too, followed by some colder air over the weekend. That seems to be the pattern we're getting into. And we will, of course, take a look at where this is all going to take us because a week from today, we will be all thinking about Christmas. In the meantime, think about the fact that it is the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And of course, you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast if you may, as you all know, but you don't. Just use our referral link that's on the description to this podcast to do your Amazon shopping, because Amazon will chuck us back a little bit of coin for sending you there. And it helps because what we do is we keep the show commercial free when we're live, and we'd like to continue to do that. So we thank those of you who have shopped on Amazon on the Joe and Joe Weather Show link. And of course, we have Tempest by Weatherflow. Still a little bit of time left to get that weather station for that weather geek in your life. Get the Tempest weather system and join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. It's easy to install. You don't need anything special, really. You can put it almost anywhere outside, and it runs on solar power. No batteries. Well, it's got a solar battery, but no wires. And we also have a coupon code, do we not, Joe Rayo?
We do, and the coupon code is Autumn 2025, and we continue to remain in, at least astronomically, the season of autumn through next Sunday. Sunday, we make the transition from autumn to winter, and but indeed, it seems, Joe, like it's very much like winter in many places out there right now, and it certainly was yesterday when we had that snow.
Yes, by the way, the coupon code will give you 10% off. And if you forget the coupon code, you could use the holiday code on the website. And if you just get there with our link, and you can use the holiday code that they have, and you'll get your discount as well. So there you go. We were talking last night because you weren't here last night, and it was really, when you looked at how the snow amounts laid out. If you looked around the big cities, the heat island effect was really in play because most of the areas surrounding Manhattan, going out into on the Jersey side, the part of the counties, Essex, Union, Hudson, the ones that are close to New York Harbor, and then you went into Brooklyn and westernmost Queens. And most amounts were generally in that area, in those areas, were in the 2 to 3 inch range. But once you got away from that, then you got into the 6, 7, and 8 inch amounts. It was quite glaring. It was not only evident in New York City, but it was also evident around Philadelphia. So it was very interesting to see that, given the way this whole thing wound up evolving.
Well, it's interesting. Yesterday morning, I took a look at the snowfall totals as of let's say 8 or 9 o'clock, and I was amazed. Newark Airport had 4 inches, and meanwhile, the official observation for Central Park was 1.1.
I know, at 8:30. Yes, Newark finished with 5.
I said, how is that possible that we have such a tremendous discrepancy between these two localities? Now, eventually, Central Park, the new accumulation for Central Park now is 2.9 inches.
Right, and the thing was, I messaged Bill Goodman because I wanted to get an answer to this question. Around most of during the day yesterday, when the snow was long done, they were carrying 2.7, and then they somehow found another 0.2 of an inch and got to 2.9. So I want to know where that 0.2 came from.
I'd like to know too. It's from the same place that 1 year when we had 340 plus
39.9.
Yeah,
we got the 0.1. The same thing with the all-time record 24-hour snowfall in that January of 16. where they found,
2016, right,
yeah, they
right.
found an extra like 2/10 of an inch or something, and they, it made the record. That I will figure this out. I'm going to see what Bill has to say. He's been silent today, so I don't know if he's working or he's on vacation or what. But he'll message me back and he'll let me know the gossip. So anyway, that's done. I have one question. I mean, 2.9 is basically 3. So I mean, how does this figure in your 3-inch rule, which only works for New York City, doesn't
It
work for
has
any
to
place else?
it has to reach 3 inches, even
Oh,
at
so
two
we have to
point.
somehow magically find another tenth between now and the end of the month.
Well, in checking some of the maps, it looks like there will be at least a couple of shops where we could put down at least a tenth of an inch in Central Park to make
Yeah,
that happen. So
yeah.
we'll,
I think I kind of I'm on the same page with you on that. I think the pattern we're actually going to be getting into is more of this sort of fast flow cold fronts coming through every couple of days. But we just saw what happened, and we really didn't see it in front of us until 5 days beforehand, really. So I would suspect that we could certainly have that happen again between now and the end of the month. Maybe not the same outcome, but something in the northwest flow that winds up, once we get close enough to it, you'll start seeing it showing up on models.
I'm trying to figure out. I mean, we're discussing as we should the weather and the snow that we had yesterday, and we will be discussing the cold and even perhaps the heavy rains that are hitting the Pacific. But I'm scratching my head. Mr. Fairchild, I have no clue what you're talking about. He says, Rayo, you read the chat. Why no Christmas tree? This is blasphemy. What the hell is he talking about?
I think he wants you to have a Christmas tree up in your behind you.
I've never had a Christmas tree in all the years we've been doing Joe and Joe. I have never had a Christmas tree
Actually, you
in
know
my.
what? I
Now, if
forgot.
you'd
I
like
think
to, if you'd like to come upstairs, maybe one day I'll do this on a laptop or whatever. I'll come upstairs. You can see how Christmassy it looks above my head, but down here it's my office, and I don't need to have lights and spangled
things.
sparkle.
All right, you know what? I'll do it for you. All right, hang on just a second. Just give me a moment here. I'm going to do this only for, poor Ruben, who apparently has issues. So, give me a moment and I'll fix this up somehow. Okay, so there's that. And let me see if I could do this cleanly. I really should do it. I'm trying to do this on the fly. So give me a moment here. Let's see. Settings. Uh, where is it? This
Now I'm
email's.
getting it from Contino. Contino is saying Joe Rayo at least put a poinsettia up. Why aren't you getting on Joe's case? Joe doesn't have anything Christmassy behind
No,
him.
no, I'm about to. I'm about to do that. I'm about to put up. Um, hold on. Just give me a moment here. Okay, I think I found it here. Uh, okay, I'm gonna put up my tree and my trains. Okay, here it comes.
That's why Renata points out we actually have two trees upstairs, and they're upstairs.
Okay,
Renata, if you're watching me right now, Renata, I know you are. Why don't you come down here and bring me a poinsettia plant so you can make Contino happy?
that's last year's. Where's this year's? Oh, this is this year's. Okay, I got mine up. There you go. Okay, let me get out of the way so you can see it. There's my tree. There are my trains, and there's the fireplace going. Once
There you
again,
go.
Joe, the brilliance of my fireplace is for the flames to actually stand perfectly still while we're on the air. So there's that. All
There
right,
you go.
so we're gonna have uh, one more day of cold. We start to warm up a little on Wednesday. Thursday looks like we're gonna be above 50. across eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. The snow cover slowly disappears, and then we get maybe a good soaking of rain later Thursday night into the first part of Friday, and then it gets cold. It gets cold again, but I don't know that it gets as cold. It's not going to get as cold as what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I had looked at SPC to see whether or not they had any kind of special area zoned out for Friday or Thursday in terms of possible, convection, maybe possible severe weather, but they said predictability is too low. So, but
Yeah, they got no. Yeah, I also I checked too. I noticed that. Yeah, they didn't have anything yesterday. Got nothing in the long range. Maybe when we get closer, we'll probably maybe in the Midwest we might see some marginal risks there.
possibly. Oh, here we go. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Does anybody? Tom Contino, you want this poinsettia? Here's
There you go. You
poinsettia
got a
for you.
poinsettia.
See, there you go. This is
Yep.
just a small, and this is just a small sampling of what we have upstairs. Thank you, dear. Thank you very much. Mrs. Rayo, thank you.
Yay!
Yay. All right.
A miracle. She just worked up a plant, just like that. She whipped it up. All right, let's get the maps going here. Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board, and welcome to those of you who are lurking in the background on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We are thankful that you're here. There's my tree and my trains. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. And we're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. We probably will not have a show next Sunday, by the way, because I'm going to be away this weekend. So no show next Sunday, Joe. You're finding out right now.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
all right. So everybody, if you like the show, hit the like button. So if you like the tree and the trains, it's a New York Central shark nose diesel with a dummy engine pulling a dummy engine and 7 passenger cars and 2 freight cars. So there you go. All a complete set. And here's the watches and warnings, which we don't have too many of in the east, other than a few winter weather advisories in the counties surrounding Buffalo, and the lake effect snow warnings up in north central New York. It's We also have freeze warnings in South Georgia and in parts of North Florida. I would have thought that would have been gone already, but apparently not. And out in the Northwest, we got a slew of high wind warnings, high wind watches, a few winter storm watches in western Wyoming, flash flood watches in western Montana and over parts of Washington State and Oregon. We also have winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories up for parts of the Cascades. On one side have flash flood watches, and on the other side have winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories. So strange weather, but that's the way it works. And on the surface map tonight, the core of this cold air mass now is sitting in South Carolina. It was below zero this morning in a lot of places in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and in northern Kentucky. I mean, it was really bitter. I got down to 12 here at my house, and some of my friends got down to 10. Somehow we managed to get back to 40 today. I actually didn't feel too bad this afternoon with sunshine all day long. The sun certainly took the sting out of the air, and there wasn't much wind, so I was happy about that. And out to the west, we've got a low in southern Minnesota with a warm front, and you'll notice the temperatures on the other side of that front in the Dakotas are in the 50s. They were below zero just a day or two ago, and they're in the 60s in parts of Nebraska, so it's pretty warm. Much of the west is on the warmish side, and of course, we keep getting these waves of moisture coming into Washington and Oregon. They got really serious problems with some of the flooding out there. There was one dam that was uh, on the verge of cracking, and there's a lot of river flooding that's going on. Whoops, I'm trying to switch you over here. Hang on a sec, because Joe's got something he wants to show everybody. So let me get that up on the screen for you, and there you go. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was just gonna say in regard to the frontal passage that's going to come our way on Friday. I've seen not a few forecasts for Friday saying temperatures early highs in, and sorry about it, like near 50, and then temperatures falling sharply during the midday and afternoon behind the frontal passage. And the cold front, indeed, that's going to usher in the change to chillier weather, is going to pass on through our area on Friday morning, first thing. And that's what may generate showery rains, maybe some rumbles of thunder. But I disagree with the analysis or the thought that we're going to see a sharp change to colder weather during the afternoon or temperatures falling.
You there? We've lost Mr. Rayo. You there, Joe?
Can you hear me?
Now I do. Okay, you lost your audio there briefly. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. All right. Well, the reason why I think that we're not going to see sharply falling temperatures, as some are suggesting on Friday, take a look at the 500 millibar, the at 18,000 feet, the upper level winds, and you can see that here we are. And I'm talking about now for the immediate New York City tri-state area, and we're in a southwesterly wind flow, and the cold front is likely going to overrun, the surface cold front is going to outrun or outpace considerably the upper level trough of low pressure, the short wave, if you will. Be passing on through our area first thing in the morning on Friday, but then just take a look at the upper level winds. They're again coming out of a southwesterly direction, and in fact, here we are. This is 18Z Friday. This is 1 o'clock Friday afternoon, and we're still in a southwesterly wind flow. The southwesterly winds bringing air in from the western North Carolina and western sections of Virginia. And that flow suggests to me, Joe, that temperature will be maintained. If we start off the day on Friday, for example, at or near 50, we're going to stay pretty well close to 50 for much of the day, through the morning and into the early part of the afternoon. We really have to wait until 0Z, 7 p.m. on Friday, 0Z Saturday, or 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, for the temperatures to start to fall. You can see now the winds by 7 o'clock Friday evening have kicked over into a west and northwesterly direction. So if there is any significant fall in the temperature, you're going to have to wait until probably just about sundown, say around 4:30, before it really starts to fall. By then, the day is over, and in comes that colder air mass that'll be flowing on through. But I tell you what, it's going to turn colder for Saturday, but even with that switch in the winds to west or west northwest, look at that. The upper level winds kind of flatten out. They almost become zonal, if you will, on Saturday. So yeah, it's going to turn noticeably chillier Saturday as opposed to Thursday and Friday. But as Joe mentioned at the top of the show, it's probably not going to be this bitter blast that we have just recently experienced again here with this latest wave of wintry weather. It's not going to be anywhere near that. It will be trending toward chillier conditions or somewhat colder conditions for the weekend, but it will not be. It will not be anything any way remotely resembling some of the cold air that has poured in here over the last week or 10 days.
Agreed. Totally agreed. And we can look at the satellite loop and see what's going on now. Now, there was a big area of rain that moved into Washington and Oregon this morning. Most of that has now crossed the Cascades and sort of petered out to some extent on the other side. But we're seeing some building cloud cover across parts of Montana, so we'll check the radar in a second. A bit of a break for them, but there's more energy out to the west in this really long Pacific jet that's coming into the northwestern part of the United States and is going nowhere fast. So we're getting wave after wave of moisture that is rolling in. Beautiful weather across the south today, although it was cold, especially in the southeast. We have clouds that are in that northwest flow coming over the Great Lakes and into parts of the Northeast. And in fact, there were some snow showers uh, on the radar. little batch there in southeastern Pennsylvania moving on through into parts of southern New Jersey. Those are moving southeast, and there's a couple of patches aloft over New York City and up the Hudson Valley. A stronger band, though, is evident right there in north central New York, coming in off of Lake Ontario. There's a darker green stretch in there. That's probably an S plus, a heavy snow band that is going on maybe around Watertown and what's the other one up there? Barnes Corners. What's the
Barnes
other one?
Corners, yeah.
There's another one. Red something. I forget.
Uh, Barnes Corners, Watertown. I'm not sure. Tug Hill.
Tug Hill. That was one. And then there's one with the word red in it. I forget. Anyhow, you can see out in the west some lighter showers, although there is even a little bit of heavier convection in there in a narrow band northeast of Seattle and moving eastward. But earlier today, the whole western half of Washington was covered with rain. So that has weakened, and there, as I said, there's more to come out in the west. Let me see if I could get a satellite loop out from the Pacific here. Pacific Northwest. I want a wide view. Let's see what the Northern Pacific satellite looks like. Okay, so there you go. It's kind of weird because it's you see the curvature, but there's moisture here, uh, southwest of Washington State out in the Pacific, and you also see the deep trough that's in the Gulf of Alaska, and that moisture. Again, I get a bit of a break right now, but there's these bright white clouds on the lower left are moving northeastward, and they're aiming right for Washington and Oregon and for southwestern Canada. Uh, Pretty active though out in the Pacific system here up north of the Aleutians, coming down from the Bering Strait, moving southeastward. So pretty active troughing that's going on out in the Pacific Northwest. Precipitation
Incidentally,
wise, what? I'm sorry.
incidentally, I found the. I think the place you were looking for was Redwood,
Okay, Redwood.
and
Gotcha.
I didn't even realize this. I'm taking a look at a map of upstate New York. But I never knew this. Just to the north of Fort Drum,
Oh, Chuck
there's a
Cardillo says Redfield. Redfield. That's what it was.
Redfield. Well, I'm looking at a
Redfield.
map here, and I'm seeing places north of Fort Drum, Teresa and Plessis and Redwood. And I didn't even know this, but in New York State, there's actually a Philadelphia. Could you believe
Oh,
that? I didn't even know we had New York State. We
well,
have
in Pennsylvania, there's a town called Jersey Shore.
a.
I'm not kidding. It's right in north central Pennsylvania, Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania. It's in the mountains. Believe it or not. There's a precip, and a lot of what's going to be in the east with this system is going to wind up being rain, even up in northern New England. But you're looking at a half to three quarters, and even some pockets of an inch of liquid. Also in the Ohio Valley and down into the Tennessee Valley, we're looking at a half to three quarters. And then in the northern half of California northward, from the Sierra Nevadas and along the coast, going all the way up the coast for the next 7 days, another 7 to 10 inches of rain, and even a few pockets of 10 inches plus. I mean, this is really serious stuff that's going on in there. It's also translating in the northern Rockies, throughout the state of Idaho, and into western Montana. And we're probably going to start seeing avalanche warnings, or maybe they've had enough snow melt that that's not going to be an issue. But um, I wouldn't be shocked if we wind up seeing more of the those avalanche warnings that we saw put up last week. So we've been kind of using the European. It's actually, well out has been outperforming the GFS to a large extent. So I'm kind of sticking with it. I do look at the GFS too, but I've been kind of, sort of focused on what the European's been doing. And there's a little, actually, it's like a little disturbance, as I said, that's producing snow showers, scattered snow showers. Those are going to be gone soon. And the high is off the South Carolina coast tomorrow. We start to get into more of a southwest flow, which continues on Wednesday. It gets a little breezy on Wednesday too, and into Thursday. system goes up through northern New England with maybe a little bit of snow in Maine Wednesday afternoon and evening, and then that's gone. And now we have as these Pacific systems coming in, and I'm just going to back it up. This is what came in this morning and weakened as it moves eastward. Now here comes the next wave that's going to come in later Tuesday into early Wednesday with some big rains, and that is going to translate into a rather deep low. There's a 973 low there north of Montana, moving eastward into almost to the northern corner of Minnesota there, and it continues to push east. Got a lot of energy with it because it's going to generate some showers, and you can see where the Europeans developing convection on Thursday from western Indiana down into Arkansas. And it peaks, it increases as we go into Thursday evening. We're mostly dry through Thursday, and then we start getting into the showery range Thursday night. And I think we're going to probably see, this to me suggests that there may wind up being a thunderstorm or two in there as it goes through early Friday, probably between 4 and 7 a.m., and then it just ends very sharply, and we get windy behind it. And you're right, temperatures will probably just kind of hold until the upper trough passes, and then once that happens, the temperatures drop going into Saturday. They bounce a little higher on Sunday when we have another front that comes through with a low, another one of these Pacific lows that moves straight across southern Canada. And that brings in actually a decent shot of cold air for next Sunday night, Monday. 516, thickness is down between 510 and 516. So, I mean, that to me says teens at night and maybe mid-20s to low 30s by day. That cold high goes out. There's another front on Christmas Eve that's got some snow and rain showers there up in New England. And then that goes out. And then we've got something else coming eastward with snow, ice, and rain for... Well, I mean, this is where the European, if this is one of these, if it literally looks like this, and I don't know that it will, you can make a case for the cold air being a little more important, and maybe that's where you get your 10th, Joe, with something like this. This looks like a giant warm front coming through, and then that goes out, and then we get a high build in, and then another system comes in, and that's in that west-northwest flow. And the European wants to do something with that on the 28th and 29th. So I think, again, it's probably going to look somewhat different when we look at this tomorrow and the next day and the next day. But there are going to be some chances in here where if things kind of line up right, we could wind up with another weather system, another wintry weather system. Maybe not to the extent of that we saw on Saturday night into Sunday, but you deal with whatever you got, whatever cards you're being played, and then that goes out, and it's just the same thing over and over again. Very active, very fast moving.
And the one thing I liked about yesterday is the fact that unlike many of the other storms we've had over the last couple of years, this snow that we had yesterday morning was a puffy, low density, at least up where I was, type of snowfall. It was not that slushy, mushy type of snow where the snow blower or the snow thrower, in those cases, you'd only throw the snow like maybe 5 feet. This one, the snow was blowing, way out, and it was very easy to maneuver and cut through. So, if they could if only all the snows could be like that, I wouldn't mind really at all, just getting out there and blowing the stuff. It's just that over the last couple of years, again, we've had more of those 8 or 9 to 1 ratio type snowfalls where it's been kind of difficult, just to push the darn machine around.
Yesterday, heart attack snow.
Heart attack snow. Yeah, even though you have a snow blower and you're not bending over to shovel this stuff, I mean, still, it's tough to just push all of that, the machine through all of that. Yesterday, no problems whatsoever. It was a lovely day, and it was also a very Currier and Ives type snowfall. I should have taken some pictures of how beautiful it gets around here with all of the trees covered in snow or whatever. It was just, It was a Christmas card type snowfall yesterday. Not a tremendous amount. I had 3 inches. Parts of Long Island had, 5, 6, even 8 inches of snow. But it turned out to be a very nice one. And the reason why I was not here yesterday was that the missus and I, as soon as we cleared away all the snow, we drove out to Pennsylvania to wish her younger brother a happy birthday. We met at a restaurant in the Poconos and had a nice, lovely afternoon. Toasting and saying nice things to each other. And then as soon as that was done, we got back in the car and then traveled 125 miles back here. So
Right. Oh, too funny. Joseph Carr hit the tip jar. Thank you, Joseph. I meant to mention it before and I forgot. I'm sorry. So I hope you're still on. Thank you very much for hitting super chat. Most appreciated. Do you have Brill or Jeopardy tonight?
I will see. I'm not sure if I do, but I will check and we'll see if we have it. Oh, wait a minute. How to hit that button. Switch now and go here. And come on, come up. Buffer wheel just keeps going round and round and round and round. All right, so when was this sent? This was sent Wednesday, 8:37, and we continue at average snowfall in December for these 5 cities. Did we do Minneapolis?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we've 5 cities, average snowfall in the month of December in these 5 cities, and we kick off with Mary Richards' favorite, Minneapolis.
I'm going to say 14.
That is a reasonable assumption, a reasonably good guess, but that's a little bit on the high side, Joe.
Oh, it is.
But we already have a winner, and it is Mike Waterhouse, 11 inches
Nice.
for Minneapolis in the month of December now.
Okay.
Next one on the list is your favorite and maybe mine, New York City, Central Park.
Oh, for New York City, I'm going to say 5.2.
You want to round that off?
5.
5? Where's the bell? There you go for Uncle Joe. 5 inches for Central Park. By the way, do I have to ring the bell now for? No, we still have less than 100. Less than 100 likes. We have 88 likes according to the latest check here, or now up to 89. All right, number 3 on the list is Oklahoma City, OKC.
I'll say 2.
Where's the bell? You did it again, Joe. How do you like them apples?
Yes, very much.
How about Philadelphia? That's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania now, not Philadelphia, New York.
Well, New York's normal is 5. I'll go a little lower for Philly, and I'll say 4.
Oh, Joe, so close.
Oh, I should have gone lower.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm thinking the 3 is going to be the winner on this one.
Bobby Livingsworth, David Full, 99. David Full, 99.
And he hit the tip jar too, David did. Thank you, David. David Fuller.
And there you go. 3 inches for Philly. And the last night is Richmond in Virginia.
Oh, well, now they're in the snow capital of the East because they've already had almost all of their snow for an entire winter. Richmond's probably either 2 or 3 for December, so I'll say 2.
Joe, 3 out of 5 tonight, Joe Chiappi.
Right, and one that I barely missed.
Congratulations.
Frank Scalera says ring the bell. Do we get 100?
I'm going to check right now. Yes, 102.
Oh,
102.
Nice.
We're on a roll here. We had 100 likes for all of last week.
I would play the lottery, Frank Scalera, but the burden of money. If I won.
Now here we go with the bonus.
Okay.
You ready? The bonus question is, Central Park since the year 2000 has had 2 white Christmases. Can you name the years? And white Christmas is measured or defined by having 1 inch of snow on the ground Christmas morning. That is a
Right.
white Christmas.
Well, I'm going to say 2000. I'm going to say 2009 and 2005.
Well, 2009 is correct. 2005, no. And you know what?
Wait, which
That
was
year,
the year that we had? I was trying to remember the year. I can remember the snowfall. I can see myself driving in it on Christmas Day. It was in the early 2000s. So if it wasn't 5, it was either 3 or 4.
well, for some reason or other, neither 5, 3, or 4 is there.
So what is there?
2024.
Oh no, that no. No. There was we had a 5-inch snowfall on Christmas Day, okay? And it happened in the late afternoon till about 8 o'clock at night. I remember I drove in it. It was horrific. I drove in it driving down from Westchester. So it's got to be one of those years. It was a rain, it was kind of a gloppy rain snow mix that went
I
to all snow. And
I
and
know what you're talking
the
about.
city got
I
five
know
inches out of
exactly.
it.
That was the first year I was up here in Putnam Valley. We had like 14 inches. That was actually 2002.
It was too. Okay, I couldn't know. I knew it was in the early 2000s. I just couldn't remember when. So 2002.
Yes.
All right. So there. So that makes 3.
And
There
there
was
you
an
go.
inch of there was an inch of snow on the ground in 2024.
But you'll have to ask the chairman. Off the top of my head, I don't. I remember that. It was a 27 snow. We definitely had snow, a few inches up here in Putnam Valley on
Right.
Christmas morning in 2017. You were up in Connecticut, right?
Yes, that's right. And I remember I drove. I was at my daughter's. I stayed overnight, and talk about Courier and Ives that morning. It was like I got to see this once in my life, where I got up in the morning. I got up at 6:30. It was moderate snow. There was 4 inches on the ground, and it was a wet type of snow. So it was clinging to everything, and it was absolutely beautiful. And it stopped around 7 a.m. And when the last couple of flakes came down and the sun began to peer through, and I remember driving because I had to work that day. So I
So
remember,
did I.
yeah. So I remember driving um, southward on, I drove through on 84 and then drove south on 684, and I got to the 287 interchange, and there was snow on the ground on the north side. Just a light coating. There was snow on the ground until we got to the 287 interchange, and there was light snow on the north side. Once you went underneath the overpass and came out the other side, nothing. It was
We.
literally, the north side and then points north.
Yep.
That was another. That was kind of strange to see it like that because it's south of 287. It was not a flake, not an ice pellet.
Oh
So,
well.
oh well is right. That was a
Uh,
windy, cold day too.
on the chat board, Harold Olson has been referring to a snowfall of 5 inches that occurred with a warm frontal passage on December 27th, 1984, and then just a few days later it was 70 degrees. And
I remember
Tom
that.
Contino says, "Do you recall that?" And I do.
Yeah, we
And
got
for,
7.5 inches, I think, out of that in New York
and
City.
and and I recall it because December 27th is Renata's birthday, and that was our first Christmas. We were married just a few months earlier, so for our very first Christmas, that was 2 days after Christmas, but December 27th is her birthday, and I remember looking out the window and I said, "Happy birthday! You got all this snow," and then it all went away with the warm temperatures that followed.
Yep.
because it was a warm front. And right after the warm front passed on by, in came the warm air, and bye went the snow.
And it was
We were
also
living.
it was an under forecasted snowfall because the old rule was that with warm front setups, you never got more than 4 inches, and that one produced 7. And then there was another
that
one
that
along the
particular
way.
that particular storm, or that particular frontal passage, uh, occurred. We were living then in an apartment in Franklin Square, Long Island. We didn't move to our Levittown house until a few years later,
Hmm.
but I do remember very well that snowfall that marked Renata's first birthday as a married woman,
Yes.
and that was all those years ago.
Delaware weather guy. It's the tip jar. Thank you, Delaware weather guy. You got snow in Delaware. Delaware weather guy. I saw your Facebook post. I got nothing else going on other than that I did all my laundry today. So I got clean sheets and clean blankets and everything else. And I put my winter comforter, which I should have done a month ago, but I just got around to it today. So I'm going to go play with my trains and then watch a little TV and then go to bed.
Okay, sir. Well,
All right.
we'll be back tomorrow at 7:35. So good night, and thanks again for putting us over the 100 mark with likes tonight.
Yep. We'll see you tomorrow.